Good day to you and welcome back to our training under the fundamental of computer system. And in the previous classes, we have discussed about motherboard and we thoroughly look into the components of a motherboard. And today we'll further look into one of the components of a motherboard, which is the networking card on the motherboard. As we previously discussed, we know that a motherboard allows us to uh, expand and add additional items like additional boards for increased capability, right? And adding a network card is one of the things that we can add to a motherboard to enable the system to use network or increase the speed of its initial networking card that is existing on it. So if for example, now if the speed of the initial card that came with the motherboard is not fast enough and you want to increase it, then you can change the motherboard, the network interface card on the motherboard by inserting a new one. So we'll be discussing about the networking card that is attached to a motherboard. So networking card is known as the network interface card. That is the card that enables us to connect our system to the internet, right? So a network interface card facilitates communication between devices over a network, and different types of networking cards are designed for various speed, range, and use cases. So whenever you are selecting your network interface card, you need to consider the speed you want, the distance you want it to cover, and the main reason why you want to use it. And there are different type of networking card, and which was under the standard of the Ethernet. So we have the one that can go with 10 megabyte per second, 100 megabyte per second, 1000 megabyte per second, or even up to 10 gigabyte Ethernet. So the one of the 10/100/1000 megabyte per second is a standard wired networking interface, and is mostly used in computers, router, switches for stable and high-speed connection. Then we also have that of the 2.5 gigabytes/10 gigabyte Ethernet, which has a higher Ethernet interface designed for demanding applications such as data center and gaming. So if you are having a data center or you have a gaming center where you require high speed, high bandwidth for your internet, right? Then you need to use the 2.5 gigabytes or the 10 gigabyte Ethernet, and requires compatible network hardware such as router, switches, etc. Right? So you can see the network interface card where you can have the PCI connection. Then you have the Ethernet port where you connect your RJ45, right? And then you can also see it is made up of discrete and passive electronic components. Then we have the type of the network interface card. We have the wired network interface card, which enable you to connect through your RJ45, a single port, and the one with the multiple port. Then we have the wireless network interface card. The wireless network interface card enable us to connect through wireless, that's electromagnetic wave, right? And then we have the USB, which is also wireless, and then it is different from the wired network interface card, because the wired network interface cards, the normal one use the PCI, while the USB use our USB port to connect to the enable us to connect to the internet through wireless, right? So you can see the various type of the network interface card that we have. So under the Wi-Fi standard, wireless networking allows devices to connect without physical cables, right? So Wi-Fi standard evolves to improve speed, ranges, and efficiency. So there are different Wi-Fi standards for the wireless network interface card that we are using, right? Then we have the 802.11a/b/g, which is an early Wi-Fi standard with limited speed and range, and it is mostly used in legacy devices. Then we have the 802.11n, which is the Wi-Fi 4, which introduced the MIMO, multiple input, multiple output, for better performance and support speed up to 600 megabytes per second. Then we have the Wi-Fi 5, which is under the 802.11ac standard and support dual 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz speed up to 3.5 giga per second, and is commonly used in modern consumer devices. Then we have the 802.11ax, which is the Wi-Fi 6 and the 6E, which improve efficiency, latency, and speed up to 9.6 gigabytes per second. And it also supports higher number of what? Simulation connection. So apart from the Wi-Fi, we also have Bluetooth as part of our what? The network interface card. And also Bluetooth falls under different version, and it is of short-range wireless communication technology. You can also use it to connect to the internet if you have another device that is transmitting internet through Bluetooth, right? And it is mostly used for peripherals like keyboard, mice, or even wireless audio devices. And the version of the Bluetooth in existence include Bluetooth 4.0, 4.2, 5.0, 5.2, and each improving range, speed, and power of what? Consumption. So that is a different kind of Bluetooth. Then we have fiber connectors. You know, in the network interface card that we have, depending on the devices, whether it is a switches, it is a router, some network interface cards enable us to connect fiber optic directly. And these are the various type of connector that we have under fiber optic. We have the Ferrula core connector, the ST connector, the Lucent connector, and the standard connector under a fiber optic. So fiber optic uses a light transmission for speed, long distance, and networking, and it's common in data center, enterprise networking, and internet backbone infrastructure. So that's why maybe you notice in your environment, you see a black cable being laid around. So that is a fiber cable being laid around to transmit network from one location to another because it supports a longer distance. Then we have the networking component on a what? Motherboard. In a typical normal motherboard, a network card is mostly coming with it. If you could remember the motherboard that I presented to you in the previous video, you notice that there is an RJ45 port where you can connect your RJ45 cable. So that is the network interface card that is embedded on the motherboard itself, and we call it an integrated network interface card because it is embedded on the motherboard itself. But if you want to expand it, or probably because the speed of the embedded one is less or the range is less and you want to expand it, then you can use a dedicated network interface card, so which will just look like something of this nature. So this is a dedicated network interface card which you can use and insert it into your motherboard to expand, either to increase the speed of your existing network interface card, or to increase the range, or to increase the bandwidth, right? So that is a dedicated network interface card. So the integrated network interface card is built directly into the motherboard and common in consumer and business laptop and desktop, and provide basic networking features but may lack advanced performance and customization option. But the dedicated network interface card, which is an add-on card, is installed in a PCI slot, just as we have discussed under the motherboard, for enhanced network capability, and it supports higher speed, advanced networking features such as VLANs, quality of service, and better security, and it is used in gaming PC servers and professional network environments. So let's look into the network port and the RJ45 connector. So as you can see here, you can see the RJ45 connecting port and then the RJ45 connector, right? So it is of what? A physical interface on a device for wired network connection. And the standard include the RJ45 for Ethernet and the SFP and the FTP for what? Fiber optic. The SFP/the SFP plus for fiber optic, just as we have shown in the previous slide. Then the RJ45 connector is a standardized connector for Ethernet and networking, and it use with what? Cat5e, Cat6, and Cat7 cable for what? Data transmission. So they are of different category, as you can see over here, and you can browse for more details for other options that are available. So now we have an assignment for you, and you are going to tell us what is the function of the network interface card. There are many functions that it performs, just as we have discussed in the networking, where we under the physical layer that we discussed, whereby the network interface card enables conversion of bits to what? Electrical signal or pulse signal into a bit, and vice versa. So you have to mention other functions that the network interface card perform, then list all the components of the what? List and explain the components of the network interface card. So this particular network interface card that I show you, you have to list the component that it contains and explain the parts of the component. Then also you have to explain the different type of fiber connectors. So these connectors that I showed you over here, research about them, explain how they function, and which one is the latest, which one is the old version, and which one is more preferred. So that is the assignment for you, and thank you until we meet in the next class.